Everybody, G-Bear here. Just wanted to catch you up on how far I got today on the solar panel array. And this is my battery box. And this green thing here is the inverter. That's a 8,000 watt inverter, 16,000 watt peak surge. And right now I have an extension cord plugged into it going through my kilowatt meter. And I'm drawing 67.3 amps because I'm running a fan, a box fan, and a drop-in freezer in the garage. And I want to see what kind of pull I get out of that. Anyway, on the box here you'll see this black pipe coming up in the corner, and I can remove that for now because I didn't glue it yet. But that's a vent to let the hydrogen gases out. And if I lift the cover up here, and there's my battery bank, and you can see I've got the back wires coming in right there, the two black wires. Those are coming from the solar controller, and then the two going out the side there go, of course, to the inverter. And then I've got my series parallel run going here. Everything nice and neat, and I stored some extra wire and connectors and things like that down here in the box, so if I have an emergency and I need to get to them real quick, I know exactly where they are. So anyway, I wanted to show you that. Also, I corrected the angle of my panels here, and I've got them at 19 degrees now. And what I did was I made a new arm here, and down here at this end where it bolts into the main pole, you see I've got an extra hole there. Well, that's because there's two different angles that are optimum for the this area of California and where they're actually going to go in the desert. And in the summertime, it's 19 degrees angle. That's what I have here. And then in the wintertime, right after November, I guess it is, we switch over and put it down to 42 degrees. And that gives me a better look at the lower sun in the sky. And in this backyard right now, you can see the sun is not hitting these panels. There's no sun on there. This is just ambient light from the day right now. And we come down here to my controller, and my controller says these arrows right here are showing that I'm still getting charge out of 2 1/4 panels with ambient light. And my battery power right now is at 12.5 volts. And I got to keep an eye on that. If that drops down below 11.2, then I'm going to disconnect the freezer from it and go back on grid. And then I'll have to do some corrections to my power. But I don't know what's going to happen here. This is an experiment, and we'll see. During the day, there will be no problem at all because I'm going to be putting in with my wind and solar. And you can see this is where my wind will hook up, and I haven't hooked that up yet. I just have these two wires coming from the solar panels, and I'm only running 4 of the panels. And altogether, I'll be putting in 1 kilowatt of power from my wind and solar, and that should give me plenty of charge throughout the day. So when I want to run the air conditioner all day long, I shouldn't have any problem. I should be able to do that and still put charge into the batteries. So you can see that the batteries are green here, and that's showing that they're in good condition. When that goes red or goes out, one of the two, I have to concern myself with it. And when the red light is on, it means I'm still getting charge from the sun or from sunlight. And then down here These are where my battery's hooked up to, and I changed my wire over from 12 gauge AWG to 6 gauge AWG. So I doubled the size of the wire, and that's going to give me less voltage drop. And I left these wires fairly long because I don't know how I'm going to situate everything until I build my little electric shed out there. And then over on this side I've got load, line 1 and line 2. This is the positive and these are the two negatives. So I can put two bulbs on there, and I do have this one bulb on here. This is a 12 volt bulb that comes with the those cheap Harbor Freight solar panels, and that's my test socket that I usually have at my table. But here's the switch. I turn that on and I have light out here, and I'll leave that so I can come out and check the voltage later. And I'm going to have that set up in the shed. I'll wire off of this unit and go to my my wall, into my wall with the wiring, and I'll go into a light switch right by the door, and then I'll mount one of these light fixtures on the ceiling above everything, so when I go in there and I need to check anything out, I just flip a switch and I have light. Anyway, that's where I'm at today, and we're going to keep working on this and get it all together. Time for a cold beer. Okay, it's exactly 12 hours since I turned it on, and we're at 12.3 volts. I started at 12.5. I'm sorry, 12.6, so I went down 0.3 volts overnight, running that freezer, a box fan, and this little light right here. And here's my notes right here. I turned it on at 6:30 p.m., 12.6 volts were readings, running 68 watts to 168 watts for the fan and freezer. Charging stopped when the sun set, 7:42. I had 12.4. So after the charging stopped, I only lost 1/10 of a volt overnight. The light went on at 8 p.m. and I was running 12.4, 12.3, and that's where I am today. So that's very successful. I think I'm going to put a larger load on it tonight and see what happens. Everybody, G-Bear back again. Here we are just about 12 hours later, and we're drawing 67.4 watts on the system, and the sun hasn't come up yet, but we're down to 12.3 volts. That's not bad. We used 2/10 of a volt overnight to run my freezer and a box fan. And here's the solar panels and the ambient light just starting to come up here. I'll start showing charge here in a few minutes. We'll see what happens.